All right, welcome to The Explainer. Today, we are going somewhere you've literally been your entire life but have never, ever truly seen. We're going on a tour inside one of your own cells. Let's dive in.
Seriously, stop and think about it for a second. Beyond the obvious stuff like skin and bones, what are your fundamental building blocks? The answer is, well, it's trillions, and I mean trillions, of tiny, bustling biological cities. And today, we've got an all-access pass. So, our first stop on the tour is to get the lay of the land. What exactly is this city we keep talking about? We're exploring the cell, the absolute basic unit of life itself.
And there it is. That's the core idea right there. Any living thing that can make a go of it on its own is made of cells. But what's really wild is that they're all constructed from the same basic starter kit of molecules. It's just how you arrange them that makes all the difference.
Now, when it comes to cells, there are kind of two main blueprints out there. You've got your simpler prokaryotic cells, think bacteria. They're smaller, they get the job done quick, but we're going to focus on the eukaryotic model. Why? Because they're bigger, way more complex, and they have a true command center, a nucleus. And that gives them this incredible capacity for specialization. This is the blueprint for you and me.
Okay, so every city needs a border, right? A gatekeeper that decides who gets in and who stays out. For the cell, that's the plasma membrane. But listen, this is no simple brick wall. It is an incredibly smart, dynamic barrier.
So what's the membrane's secret? It's all in its structure, a phospholipid bilayer. I want you to picture a tiny molecule with a head that loves water and a tail that is absolutely terrified of it. Now just line them up in two layers, with all the water-hating tails facing inward and the water-loving heads facing out. And that structure? It's absolute genius for the job. That water-fearing core creates a barrier that stops just anything from wandering in, while the water-loving surfaces are perfectly happy hanging out in the watery environments inside and outside the cell. It creates this stable, self-contained world.
But don't go thinking this is some rigid wall.
Nope. The best way to describe it is the fluid mosaic model, which means it's like a constantly shifting, oily surface. The lipids and the proteins are kind of like little boats floating on a sea. And those protein boats, they're the real bouncers. They are the gates, the sensors, and the communication towers for the entire city.
All right, we've made it past the bouncer. Let's head straight to City Hall, the command center of the whole operation, the nucleus.
And this isn't just any old room. We're talking about a fortress protected by a double membrane for maximum security. Why? Because inside is the city's most precious cargo, the chromatin, which is your DNA master plan. Nothing gets in or out without passing through these regulated doorways called nuclear pores. From this secure office, the nucleus manages the two most critical jobs in town, copying the master plan for new cells and reading out the instructions to tell everyone else what to do.
With the blueprints secure in the nucleus, the rest of the cell city is just humming with activity. Let's take a quick-fire tour of the essential infrastructure that keeps this whole place running. And just like a real city, this one runs on a network of specialized infrastructure. You've got the mitochondria, which are the power plants keeping the lights on. Then there's the endoplasmic reticulum, or ER, the sprawling factory district. Everything built there gets sent to the Golgi apparatus, the city's main shipping center, while the lysosomes act as the sanitation crew, keeping everything clean. Every part has a distinct role in this massive, coordinated effort.
And they all work together in this seamless assembly line. A protein is born in the rough ER, travels in a little bubble to the Golgi, gets modified and packaged, and then it's shipped off to wherever it's needed. It's an unbelievably efficient logistics network.
So we've seen the city's parts, but what about its life? How does a cell grow, divide, and decide what it wants to be when it grows up? You know, this chart is fascinating. A cell actually spends about 90% of its life in what's called interphase. This is its normal life, it's growing, doing its job, and preparing for a potential division. The actual act of splitting in two, mitosis, is just a tiny fraction of its existence.
And in a complex creature like us, that division is tightly controlled. A cell can't just start dividing because it feels like it. It has to wait for very specific signals, ensuring it only multiplies when it benefits the entire organism. It is all about teamwork.
This leads to one of the most amazing feats in all of biology: differentiation. Here's the wild part. Every single cell in your body has the exact same DNA blueprint in its nucleus, but by turning certain genes on and others off, they can become hundreds of different types of specialized workers. Think about it. A red blood cell becomes a disc-shaped oxygen carrier. A neuron grows these incredibly intricate branches to pass signals. A muscle cell becomes a contracting powerhouse. All of them came from the same set of instructions. They just read different chapters of the book.
Okay, let's zoom out for the big picture. This tour has been about one cell city, but the real magic is how trillions of them work together to build you.
It's this beautiful story of construction, starting from the ground up. Individual cells get together to form tissues, like bricks forming a wall. Those tissues then coordinate to build organs, like walls creating a building. And finally, all the organs work together to create you, a complete organism. The secret ingredient holding it all together? Cooperation.
And this might be the ultimate act of that cellular cooperation, apoptosis, or programmed cell death. When a cell is old or damaged or just not needed anymore, it receives a signal to neatly dismantle itself for the greater good. It's a clean, quiet sacrifice to keep the entire organism healthy.
So, we end our tour here. If a single one of your cells is a complex, bustling city, what does that make the cosmic-scale civilization of trillions of them, all cooperating, communicating, and sacrificing to create the singular consciousness that is you? It's an incredible thought to leave you with. Thanks for joining The Explainer.